Well, what do you know? So, Motorola put a video out about a month ago stating Motorola is back with the new Motorola signature. Well, guess what? Nothing is back. So, earlier today, this morning, we got a leak of the new Nothing Phone 4A, and I'm jumping for joy. I really like the way this looks. Before you make fun of me and you say it's a refresh, it looks the same. Maybe, but they made some key adjustments that make a worlds of a difference to me, and I know some other people as well. And we're going to get into those and see if some of the early onlookers of this device like its design, and possibly see if you would potentially like it. Now, we'll go over the specs, we'll go over the anticipated price, and we'll compare it to last year's phone 3A. So Carl Pei recently in a video for Nothing on their YouTube channel said there is no flagship phone this year, meaning they're not putting out a phone 4. He stated saying phone 4A is their flagship for this year. So this is the device. Nothing is moving all the chips to the center of the table, and they're hitting us with a good one this year. I think this is going to be a fantastic phone, and this is the device that you're going to be seeing Nothing touting all year. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. So here is the Nothing Phone 4A. What a beautiful looking device. When I saw this morning, I literally took a sigh of relief. I thought with the introduction of the phone 3, of it literally, and I'm sorry for people that bought it, and look, it's all subjective, right? What looks good to me might not look good to you, and vice versa, right? I thought the phone 3 was literally the ugliest phone I have ever seen in my life. I thought it was a joke when I saw the renders. I was like, they're trolling us, right? They weren't. And I skipped it. I thought for 2 years I'm getting the phone 3 no matter what. I've had basically all their other phones and fell in love with the company and their kind of style and what they're doing. Android desperately needs another phone manufacturer to the table, right? OnePlus, Samsung, Motorola now. This is going to be a good year for phones. It's going to be a great year for phones because now you have this option. And we'll get into the price and where it fits in. But take some of the similar looks from last year and from last year's phone, and that's okay, right? Like what Google has on the opposite side of the phone 3, which is the ugliest phone I've ever seen. Google, which I think they have the best looking phone I've ever seen. It's okay to refresh your phone, but it starts to wear a little bit when you refresh it after like year 5 or year 6, like what Apple's doing, like with their iPhone. They've had that same, even with the island design. The cameras are still in the same place. It's essentially the same phone. We're on how many times have they refreshed this? What are we, 6 or 7 years now? And I don't anticipate Google doing that with their Pixel series, and neither do I with Nothing. Right? They're not going to sit on this for 7 years, but refreshing a good-looking phone is okay. Even if it's 2 or 3 years, it's okay. It's when you start getting into 4 or 5, then you're like, okay, now it's time for something new. But I expect the Pixel 11 to look the same, and that's okay. But that's what you get here with the 4A. It looks very similar to the 3A. We'll get into the comparison. But just taking a look at it, it's like, whoa. It reminds me of the 3A. I think the 2A was up there in some of the best phones I've ever seen. And that had 2 camera sensors on the back. Phone 3A looks similar to 2A. They just added another camera. But now this is like a refined 3A. Where are the Glyph lights? They did away with the Glyph lights? No, they're still there. So if you look to the right side of the camera island, you see that little strip, you see that red bar, that red square at the bottom, and how if you go up from that red square, you can see little squares above it. That's going to be your Glyph interface. That's going to be, from what I understand, fully customizable. From what I understand, it's 40% brighter, each of those LEDs. that emit light are 40% brighter than last year's LEDs. And I know you're thinking, well, where's the flashlight? Well, that's going to be your flashlight, right? It's not obviously going to emit, I mean, you can, but it's not going to emit the red LED for your flashlight. It'll emit the bright white ones, right? It'll be cool. They're going to come up with something neat where you can program it, kind of like on the Phone 3, where you can program that little glyph circle. We'll get into the 4A Pro later, which we really don't have much information. I do have a sneak peek, though, of what it might look like. But this is cool. I like this. Refreshed. Looks great. Gonna perform great. And if you're considering getting this, we'll mention one thing you're going to want to keep in mind down the road, right? But let me show you what I am gonna like about this phone, and let me show you what's different minus some minor looks, right? So let me pull up the image of the 3A versus Phone A. So here you get 4A on the left, 3A on the right. Looks pretty similar, right? It just looks more refined because the camera section on the 3A on the right is more square, is more spread out. I think the aesthetics, the design looks way more refined on the 4A. The top section just seems a little more like they know, like where each part knows where it's supposed to go. It's very intricate. Let me show you what I think is going to make a huge difference. So when I got the Phone 3A on the right earlier last year, it's a nice phone, but I hated using it. So let me tell you why, and that's why I ultimately sold it. I got rid of it because I do a lot of shooting video, pictures for my content, for my YouTube channel. And the button placement on the 3A was the worst placed buttons on any phone I think I've ever used. Because look at the 3A. So in the middle where that red square is on the right, the buttons on the right of the red square, and look all the way on the left side. So you have your power and volume buttons. Your volume buttons are on the right next to the right square, the red square. And then you have your power button all the way to the left with that little bar that separates the middle of the phone. All the way on the left, you have your power button. And then down below that on the left side, you have the essential key. Those were the worst placed buttons I've used on any phone in history. And let me tell you where it really bites people like me in the ass when you record a lot, is putting it on a mount or a tripod or a clamp, like how I have my phone right now is on a clamp. Well, when you clamp the Phone 3A, it would continually either push down on the power button too much and then turn the phone off, or if you tried to scoot it over a little bit, it would clamp down on the essential key and you would just get the essential homepage or the essential screen and you couldn't get out of it because the button was being pushed. So it was just a major pain. It was like something that probably only affects like I don't know what, less than 1% of users, but I happen to be in that category where I could not use it with a clamp. I just couldn't, right? So now if you take a look at the 4A on the left, they totally revamped their buttons. So you're going to have, instead of buttons in the middle of the phone, they moved them up. So you'll have your traditional power and volume rockers on one side this time, because on the 3A, power was on one side, volume was on the other side. Well, now you're going to have your power and your volume rocker on the right side of the phone if you're holding it looking at the screen. On the back of the 4A, it's on the left side, the power and volume buttons. And then look where they put that essential key. It's up there on the top right of the back of the 4A where the red square is. That's your essential key, way up there. And that's good. So you can put a clamp on this 4A. Again, probably doesn't affect a lot, but that's one major thing that they've done with this phone is revamp the buttons, and I'm ecstatic. I'm very happy. Now let me show you another angle of what this looks like. Pretty cool, right? Nothing has always had good looking phones. Not a exact replica. This is like an AI made version of it, because if you look at the back panel there, kind of like where the battery would go, it is a little different from this one. Slightly, but it's a little different, but pretty close. It looks nice, and that back is going to be all glass, so that camera island that you see that looks like they stick out really far from the back, it's not going to stick out that far, because a lot of that island is going to be glass. So only the really top part of those sensors that outline those sensors are only going to be sticking above the glass. So it's not going to be like a huge Google Pixel camera bar that sticks way up off the back of the phone, or the phone 3A Pro with that huge circle that sticks way up off of the back panel. It's not going to stick that far off, but it looks nice. I'm excited. We got Glyph lights, and it appears that some users online are excited too, because I took some screenshots of a video that was showing off a potential for a mock-up. So a lot of people, I came across a ton of people saying that they liked the phone, they liked the way it looked. I saw a couple that said they did not, but it was very minimal. A large majority of the people were had positive feelings and positive stuff to say about this, whether they like it or they're going to buy it. Either way, there was way more positive than negative. So I think Nothing hit it with a home run. I was starting to get worried about Nothing, because here's the thing: if you're a small brand and you're putting out flagship phones, mid-range phones, you don't have much wiggle room. Like, you don't have a lot of room to mess up. And with the phone 3, let's face it, they messed up. I don't know their sales numbers. That's all kept private. But I can guarantee you not many people bought it. And that hurt them, hurt their sales, right? They put a ton of money, a ton of investment into producing these things. R&D, developers, marketing, everything. And I don't think they made their money back on the phone 3. But it was imperative for Nothing to hit it out of the park on their next release, whether it was the 4A or phone 4, whatever they were putting out next. Necessarily didn't have to be a home run, but it needed to be a good seller, meaning they were happy with revenue, they were happy with profits, they were happy with sales of said device that was going to be released. I think they're going to sell a lot of these. I'm going to be one of them. I love these phones, and I'm just glad they're headed in their right track, right? I was worried that they were going to go way off to the left as far as design and just make these crazy looking designs that didn't make any sense, right? Like, I like this stuff. The phone 3 just made no sense. Like, it just looked like they were picking out places with their eyes closed to put a phone sensor. Just, let's put one here, let's put one there, let's put one there. I was like, what is this? So that really turned me off. But now I'm back on the Nothing train. So spec wise, it's going to have a Snapdragon 7S Gen 3. Nothing to brag about, but remember what I always say about these Nothing phones, the A series. It's the best you can buy for the dollar, meaning the total package and how much you spend on it, right? You're not spending $1,000, so you expect the very best processor. These are going to be roughly $400. So, like, you kind of have to know what you're getting, is what I'm saying. That's more than capable of handling. That 7S Gen 3 Snapdragon CPU is more than capable handling anything and everything you do. 99% of the users are going to be a-okay with it, not going to have any issues whatsoever. The camera sensors are being upgraded. Screen is being upgraded. Memory, I believe, is being upgraded. I'm more specific on the UFS storage. I just hope they bump it up to UFS 4.0, maybe pushing it. But that stuff matters to me, but might not to you, but we shall see. That has not leaked yet. Now, this is going to be released on March the 4th, I believe, and then sales go live March 12th. So it's coming up here in just a couple of weeks. This will be available to purchase. Now, here's what I want you to be mindful of, right, is, are they going to bring this to the United States in as the beta program, or is it going to? Are they going to have full-fledged open sales? Nothing has hired a U.S. Executive for just for the U.S. market, and I'm wondering at what point in time they're going to say they're going to kick the doors off of this beta program and allow complete and open sales for the U.S. Because if you have never purchased a Nothing phone and you live in the United States, you have to purchase it. It is available to purchase from the Nothing website if you live in the USA. It's just in their beta program. And it's just a way for them to say, yeah, you can buy it, but we can't guarantee it'll work basically on your carriers. And that minus the button placement, that was the Nothing Phone 3A's biggest weakness, was the carrier selection. It seemed like it got worse with the 3A over the 2A. So I have T-Mobile. It works perfectly fine with Nothing phones. In fact, if you are interested in getting a Nothing phone, make sure you have T-Mobile, because you don't have to worry about, does it work for AT&T, does it work for Verizon, because that was the hiccups we encountered with the phone 2A and 3A. It just seemed the 3A was worse. Hit or miss. AT&T on the 3A did not work. AT&T on the 2A did work. Now, Verizon did not work on the 2A, but works on the 3A, kind of. Right? Some people only get one 5G band. Most people just got 4G LTE. If that's a big deal to you, it might not be. It is to me. I don't know yet what modem this is going to have in it. I guess we could find out. But it should be capable. I just want them to expand the modem in as far as I want it to fully support AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Nothing, I'm going to at you in this video. You absolutely have to enable US carriers to fully support this device. If you want to be taken serious, this is part of the plan. This is part of the growth, is getting us out of the beta program. Or even if we do remain in the beta program for whatever reason, we're still in it, you gotta enable, you gotta open up those bands and I can't tell you how many people when the 3A was released that purchased the phone 3A but had AT&T. And I even did a video about it. You have to trick AT&T and tell them you have some, I don't know, off the wall Motorola phone and give them your IMEI so it'll work. But then a lot of people were telling me it only worked for a month, and then they blocked my phone. They blocked the service to the phone because it's not compatible with AT&T. Like what the hell is this? Anyways, I need you all to fix that ASAP. Now, if you have T-Mobile, you're completely fine. Any T-Mobile MVNO, Mint Mobile, Metro, PCS, you'll be fine with this. It's probably the only reason why I still have T-Mobile is because it works with almost basically any phone. If you got AT&T or Verizon, I would stay tuned to the channel, subscribe to the channel, and let us do the testing for you, because I do plan on getting this. Now, price are going to increase on this device up from 3A was $369. I think they're expecting this to be $429. So, and that's for the base model, which apparently they're having a 8 gig of RAM, 128 base. But in America, if you buy this in America, they only give you one storage variant, and that's good because they give you a 12 gig, 256 gig variant only for the US users. So you don't have to worry about getting a low storage model. They're gonna fill you up with storage here if you're in the US. So if you are in the US, I can fully expect a 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage for roughly $429. That's a good deal for $429. It's going to have new sensors on the back, 50 megapixel sensors, and a 32 megapixel front-facing selfie sensor. Going to have a 1.5K Super AMOLED display. It's going to be nice. And I look forward to getting back into Nothing. Before we get out of here, the phone 4A Pro, nothing rock solid as far as leaks and or design. We do know the price is going to be upwards of close to $500. It's going to be more expensive. They do have better camera sensors in the Pro version of the 4A Pro, the 3A Pro. They do have better camera sensors, But in my opinion, it's just not worth the extra $100 to get the Pro version. There's really not that much difference in camera quality. Anyways, I think this one looks better too, because let me show you a potential leak for the 4A Pro. Here's what you're getting. That's what another guys leaked to us for the 4A Pro. So we don't know what it's going to look like now. Is the camera, is it sideways? It looks like it might be sideways. Like if the camera is sitting, if the phone is sitting like this. It looks like because at first I thought it was sitting up, and I'm like, damn, that's a weird camera angle where camera island where it would be up and down. No, I think it's sideways. I think it's sitting. Damn, my camera's backwards. I think it's sitting like this. Jesus. I think it's sitting like that, but reverse. You see what I'm saying? I guess it would be like this. I think it's sideways, and I think the camera island is like that because this still has glyphs. So I don't know, quite honestly, but we've got the 3A. Nothing leaked. This is not coming from some website or some, somebody on YouTube or on X leaking that image. The 3A, this 3A came straight from nothing. So they leaked it on their, well, they didn't leak it. They released it on their Twitter account. So we know that's what that's what it is going to look like. And then they teased this for the 4A series, but it has to be the Pro because they already leaked the 3A. Excuse me, the 4A. So, we'll have to wait and see. But hopefully, look, I don't really care what it looks like. Just don't make it ugly. Jesus Christ. Just keep on. Look, y'all were doing great with everything up until the 3. I think the 3, they got a little too ahead of themselves and they need to pull themselves back in. Just put something out that looks nice and elegant, flashy, just nothing crazy like the phone 3. So we should hear something soon when the Pro comes out. Whenever the Pro 4A gets leaked and or we get news about that, we will certainly bring it to you in all the information. If you are a Nothing fan or potentially thinking about getting this phone, right, but you want to make sure it works here in the US before you buy it, subscribe to the eSIMstudios YouTube channel. I have a Verizon SIM I'm going to put in here and test the network out on here for y'all. I'm going to get that out, promise. But subscribe to the channel and we'll have everything Nothing phone 4A news, information, reviews. And guess what? I just got case my Rinky special gift from Rinky. I got all my S23 Ultra cases here from Rinky today. So we got case reviews galore for the S23 Ultra. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're going to have a gazillion case reviews for the S23 Ultra. So we're going to have a fun time. Appreciate it. And see you tomorrow. Peace.